Hi guys, welcome back to Homestead Renovation. So we're prepping to get ready to process our meat birds tomorrow. So we thought we'd show you our setup and get you some footage of after the dispatch. So here's the birds. So now they are 12 weeks, maybe a little over 12 weeks, but we're gonna process them tomorrow. Everyone has done really well. We got them from Hoover Hatchery and they have grown well. We haven't had no loss, which is pretty incredible. They're a little hot. Today's been a very humid, hot day, but they've been growing well. So we are going to weigh them tomorrow, see about how big they are. By guessing, we have one rooster and he's the biggest, obviously. Guessing, I'd like to say that he's probably going to be around 7 pounds. He's big, but other than that, we're everyone's looking good. All right, so the first station, Jason made this stand for the kill cones here. These are yard bird kill cones. We got large. They're pretty big, but our birds are pretty big. So he used some used lumber that we had laying around, made a nice little station. Over here, we've got our canopy up to keep us cool and in the shade. We're gonna have our scalder located in this vicinity here somewhere. And then over here on this tarp, we're going to have the defeather, which I'll show you in just a minute. Okay, so outside these doors is where we have the tent and the tarp. That is what the defeather is going to go on outside there. Then when you come in, we'll have a ice bath here for them. We have our trash can, our evisceration table. So this is where we will clean them, gut them. And then from there, we're going to have another ice bath here. And then we're going to move on and we are going to do all the cutting, separating, and packaging on this table. These bins here we're going to use for keeping things like the hearts, the livers for dog food. And then we're also going to keep the backs and the feet for making stock. So that's our setup so far. Nothing fancy, but it will do. So this is the defeather we got. It's a kitchen ear defeather. It's got these, silicone fingers, I guess you would call them, in it, and has wheels. So far, so good. Everything looks all right on it. It did have some dents when we got it. I guess those were from shipping. But anywho, so this is what we're going to try out tomorrow for defeathering and see how it goes. So that's just a little bit of our setup. We're going to get all the ice baths ready in the morning and then get the scalder ready in the morning.
Yep.
Hook that up to gas and we'll be good to go. So we'll get all that set up and we'll see you in the morning.
See you guys.
All right, so we just finished up cleaning up the shop and getting everything put back, and we're pretty exhausted.
Yeah.
That was a lot of work. So we did 24 meat birds and it took us approximately 4 hours.
Yeah.
With 5 adults.
Yeah.
And the girls. Both girls did help, surprisingly. They were not grossed out in the least bit. They handled it way better than I did. So we wanted to go over some numbers real quick. So we bought the meat birds for $90. So for 24 birds, 25 birds, I think. It was $90. We also added up how much feed we fed them over the period of time that we've had them. So we have had them for
about 13 weeks.
12 to 13 weeks. So I think they just turned 13 weeks a few days ago.
Something like that.
So we're a little over. We wanted to process them right at 12 weeks and it just didn't work out time-wise with our schedules. So we processed them at around 13 weeks. For feeding them for those 13 weeks was $220. $220.87 for 13 weeks. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not terrible for, pasture raised birds, for pasture raised chicken.
Yeah, because we know what they've eaten.
Mm-hmm.
We've cared for them. We've taken care of them.
Mm-hmm.
We've moved them every 12 hours throughout the yard. They've had grass, bugs.
Right.
We fed them twice a day. They lived a good life.
They did live a good life. They were not in a confined space. They weren't in these, what are they called? Like,
Chicken houses.
yeah, chicken houses, like where there's like thousands of them and they never see the light of day. Like, these chickens had a really good life. We made sure that, they were constantly moving. They were never in their own poop.
Never.
Like, ever. We moved them so fast, so often, that their feet were incredibly clean.
Yeah.
They weren't dirty.
No.
They weren't dirty birds. So it was definitely, we feel like we gave them the best possible life while we had them. And our girls know that that's what they were for. They knew that these were not pets.
That's right.
We were raising these to feed our family.
That's right.
And we were going to make their lives great while they were here. So with that said, the total money that we have invested in these meat birds, and that also, I guess we could include making the chicken tractor. The chicken tractor was just under $100 to build. And then what else? Oh, we had the poultry netting. We had the fence, charger for the fence. So grand total, we probably came in around $450.
That's not including the fence, though, like she said.
Yeah, like not including the fence and the charger. We probably came in somewhere, including the fence and the charger, we're probably pushing
About $700.
About $700. But there again, that was a one-time thing. So once you buy your poultry netting, once you buy your fence charger, you don't have to do that again, hopefully for a long time. Same with the coop. You'll have that coop for hopefully a long time, and you won't have to buy another one next year. So really, the only thing that we've invested that will be reoccurring is the chickens and the feed.
Yep.
What did we learn about processing our own chickens today?
Well, we'll start at the dispatch station.
Okay.
So when we bought cones, and I built the dispatch station, we bought extra large cones because we want to do turkeys also. So we tried that. They're a little on the big side for the birds that we had today. And I don't remember the name of the bird.
The birds that we have are Red Ranger. We got them from the Hoover Hatchery.
Yeah. And they were a good bird. They were like a normal chicken. Had great meat on their breasts, great meat on the thighs and legs, good proportion, and they were a normal looking chicken. And that's what we wanted, is a normal looking chicken while we were doing this, and proportioned correctly. So they were a little bit small for those cones. So we needed to get a large cone instead of the extra large cone. The other thing is the scalder.
So we used our turkey fryer for the scalder.
Yeah.
It's what we had. It's what we had to work with.
Yeah. It worked great.
It worked.
With the exception of
it's not quite big enough to...
Yeah, you can only do one bird in it.
Right.
So it was only big enough for that. And the temperature, the temperature just didn't seem to navigate correctly.
It fluctuates.
Yeah, but we got it under control. Onto the defeather, man, that thing did great.
Super happy with the defeather. So I think I mentioned it earlier, but the defeather is Kitcheneer. We got it on Amazon, and it wasn't like there's Yardbird brand. Yardbird is a great brand, has great reviews. We could not justify spending that type of money. So we decided to try something that was a little cheaper for right now, because this is our first go around. that Kitcheneer defeather
Did great.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I
It was
mean,
well worth the money.
yes, it was like maybe 30 seconds a bird.
Yeah.
Maybe. And they were clean. They were totally clean.
Yep.
So that I highly recommend investing in if you're going to do your
not a sponsored video.
No, we're not sponsored by Kitcheneer or any of these brands
Just
that
our
we're.
own experience.
But this was the only thing about the Kitcheneer was when it came, it was a little beat up from shipping,
Yeah.
but it worked great. It was well worth the money, and it cuts your time more than half because you're not sitting there plucking chickens. So if you're planning on doing your own meat birds, highly recommend getting a defeather.
Then going to the ice bath, you got to make sure that you have plenty of blocks of ice.
Yeah.
Towards the end, we ran out of actual blocks of ice, and we just took Tupperware and froze water and used that.
And it lasts a long time.
It did, and
instead
it kept
of
the
buying
water
bags
cold,
of ice.
but not real cold.
Right.
So we learned that we need to make more.
Yeah.
The other thing is going from there to the evisceration table. That did really good.
Yes.
No problems there. Went to next ice bath. Really no problems there except for the ice. Going to the cut up table. Now what we did is we cut the birds up. Right. We didn't freeze them whole because that ain't how we eat. I mean, if we wanted a rotisserie chicken, we would do that. We learned that you do need a separate set of kitchen knives because you will dull your blade on your knife because of just hitting the bone.
Especially because we're inexperienced.
No clue.
We were trying very hard to find the joints. We watched tons of YouTube videos on this, and it is definitely a learning experience. When you're cutting up a bird, there's nothing like curve. Yeah, it's nothing like doing it yourself. Like someone can tell you like, oh, so hold it like this and cut like this. That is helpful, but until you do it yourself, it's hard to find that section.
It is. It is. And towards the end, we started finding it more and more, but the blades was already dull. So you definitely need another set of kitchen knives, and definitely need a really good set of shears
to cut the backbone.
A meat saw or something like that. The vacuum sealer that we used in the vacuum bags, it did phenomenal.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
So the vacuum sealer is a Cabela's brand vacuum sealer.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. And it is really good. Like I mean, we vacuum sealed a lot of chicken.
A lot of chicken.
88 and a half pounds of chicken that we vacuum sealed today. And the vacuum sealer worked great. We bought, I would like to say that we bought on Amazon the selecta-size rolls of the vacuum seal bag. So you pull it out and then you slice it to make your own size bags. I highly recommend that because you can buy large bags, you can buy small bags that are already pre-cut, but there is nothing like, I mean, sometimes we wanted to do a large bag of wings and I could make a bag perfectly fit for that, you know, for those wings. Same with like the breast. Sometimes like the small bag didn't quite fit the breast, but a large bag would have been too big. With this with these vacuum seal bags, you could just make it the exact size you wanted and worked awesome. Like was really good.
And you know, probably what we'll do, I mean, YouTube gets funny about us showing the dispatching and the birds and things like that, so we didn't show any of that. That's the reason why we didn't actually do any videos of everything. And at the end of the day, the chicken backs, the chicken feet, some of the skin and things like that, we saved that. The wing tips, we're going to save some. We're going to make some chicken stock with it. Yeah, we're going to make chicken stock out of the backs, the feet, and the wing tips. I don't know if we're going to do them all together. We might do them separately. So if you have made stock from backs, wings, and tips, please leave a comment below. Do you put them all in one pot or do you do them all separately? Because we don't know, but we're learning and trying to teach you guys too. Right. So I'm trying to do my research on that and get opinions on
how would you make the chicken stock. So
all in all, it was a really good day.
it was a good day.
Learned a lot.
Yeah.
Learned a lot.
Yeah. So these are just some of the things that we've taken away from this experience. Raising the birds, fairly easy.
You know, it was very pleasant.
Yeah.
To raise these birds.
Yeah.
To care for these birds. To move these birds. It was very, very pleasant.
Yeah.
We didn't have any issues as far as dispatching it. We tried to make it just as quick and painless as possible.
Yeah, we wanted to be humane. We didn't want them to suffer. We made sure everyone was calm, that the chickens were calm, like everything stayed calm, because we wanted them to have a good life even up until that one bad day.
That's correct.
So we feel like that it went really well, and we've already been talking that we would totally do this again.
Oh yeah.
Totally do it again. And I don't know if we would do it again on a bigger scale, but we really enjoyed this experience. So that is pretty much it. That is what we've learned. We wanted to share this experience with y'all, and hopefully you'll learn something from our little tips and tidbits, and hopefully you guys can give us some advice on what we can do better next time, or what works good for you.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys.